afternoon everybody. This one I've had built for at least 3 years, if not more. It was part of a plan to build a load of fairground rides and have them running off live steam traction engines. Model ones of course. Now that's not going to happen now, but this one, it's a bit basic but I rather like it, but it's not without its issues. This is around about 1961 model 4.9 Flyboats ride. Quite simple. We've got the ticket booth here, and for once I didn't mind bending this flexible plate, or two flexible plates, because they're scratched, so it wasn't so much of an issue, although they're not bad condition. Quite simple its operation and its construction to a large extent, but I'll just show you working before we go any further. Basically we've got a crank handle here and you can turn it one way or the other. It's very smooth, there's no oil on this at all, so there's an odd squeak, which is probably the plastic handle on the crank handle itself down here to your left. And we have a 1-inch pulley here, which is connected up to this 3-inch pulley up here via a cord drive band that you make up yourself. So that's the operation quite nicely and simply. It is quite relaxing somehow, but it wasn't beyond a few issues. Before we go on to the issues, the plan may be to add a small electric motor before it gets taken apart and put into stock. We've got a pulley here, a 1-inch pulley, to connect a motor to, although unless your motor is capable of running very slow, or indeed steam engine for that matter, you're going to have to up the size of that pulley there to reduce the reduction in speed, because this would fly, say using a Meccano Mech 1 steam engine for example. It absolutely fly. One thing I've noticed when I looked at the instructions, unless my instructions are different, the actual design shows the drive on the opposite side, which is a bit odd. It also shows a magic motor fitted, which probably wouldn't be too bad to drive it, but it would still run quite fast. Now these sector plates here, you don't really need, to be honest. It would be pretty stable without them, and they sit a bit high anyway because you've used trunnions to fix them to the main flange plate base in the middle there, just there, and that means they do sit a bit high. They will touch down, but you do have to force them a little bit. If you do go too fast, the boats themselves, the chairs if you like, can hit the crank handle down there, but I think that's more than fast enough. I heard it hit there. But there was a few things that I thought, oh, that's not very good, we can improve on that. Granted, I've added to it slightly from a set build, so technically you could consider it a failure. It would have worked, but it would have been a bit, well, clunky to say the least. Not so nice and smooth as it does now. And here is that alteration. We've used the double bracket there, as you can see. That's as the design, but what I've done, I've spaced out the arm by adding washers either side. The same on the opposite end, we've done the same there. A little bit different on the other arm. Similar on the other arm, but done with 2 angle brackets, because there's only 2 double brackets in the set, which entails a bit more fiddly construction. And this is a common thing for me in model building from the sets where you've got a bush wheel with a strip across, because the boss, sort of a crimp if you like, that holds the boss on to the bush wheel on this side, it's slightly raised, which means you can deform the strip. Right, we've now connected a motor, and as it was to hand, it's this one, a Meccano EO 20 volt motor, run off this Hornby transformer. There's a video on the motor and the transformer elsewhere in the channel, and to be honest, it's still too fast. We've got a 2-inch pulley on here now, and even though this is really too tight, to be honest, far too tight, but it's okay for this short experiment, and it may be helping in slowing things down, but it is too tight. However, let's give it a go. So you can hear things clattering a bit while they settle down, because the chairs are quite loose on their pivots, or at least 2 of them are. And in fact, that's not too bad now. It was going a lot faster than that. That's still too fast, but not too bad considering. And just to show you how fast it will go, and once it stops clattering it would start to go a bit faster than that. So as you can see, once it gets going it's far too fast. But it's a very easy thing to do in regards to fitting a motor. So as you can see it's still too fast, but you could benefit by raising the base and putting a 3-inch pulley there. That would slow it down a bit more. Or perhaps use a modern 3-volt motor which spins quite fast, to be honest, even on 3 volts. But perhaps use one battery or some batteries that are half worn out. As you can see, it's a very simple thing to motorise. And I think, folks, that's it for this one. See you again soon.